All right, so let's start off with the easiest thing to do, which is going to be adding this attack sound basically. Whenever your character is being attacked, this is going to play. So I'm just going to show you guys how this sounds. So this is how it sounds, and I think it was pretty nice. I got it off of YouTube. You can get a lot of like copyright-free sound effects that you can use. So let's go ahead and go into Unreal Engine 5 and add this sound. First things first, we're gonna have to go in Unreal Engine, and we're gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call this sounds. Again, you don't need to do this, but it's just good to like keep your files organized and just keep everything organized. And then we're gonna drag this audio file. It's an MP3 file, by the way. I think you can drag this inside that folder, and you're gonna see that we have this sound wave file imported. Next up, what we need to do is we need to go inside blueprints again, retargeted characters, and let's go inside our Marrakesh character. Once we open this, it's actually pretty simple. All we need to do is the moment that it attacks, the moment that it's causing damage, what we need to do is before doing this whole thing, I'm sorry, one second. Let me select everything. So I'm going to move that ahead, and here we're going to be, before causing the damage, actually, we're going to be just playing that audio file. So what we need to do is we need to just make this windowed, reduce the size, and we're going to go back to our sounds folder. And we can just drag this sound file inside our blueprint like that, blueprint editor like that. Okay. So if I just make this maximize again, and you're going to see that we have this add audio component node right here. So we're just going to plug the event damage, the event cause damage into this. And then after this, we're going to be doing the whole damage thing. So what it's going to do is that before it actually causes the damage, it's just going to play this audio. And yeah, everything else seems to be good. So let's compile this. Let's see if it works. And you can see that it works. And we died. So yeah, get the idea, right? Only problem is that, okay, there's a glitch that we need to fix now. I'm going to pause this, and I'm also going to reduce the desktop audio so that you guys can't hear the attacking animation again and again, attacking sound again and again, because it's going to be annoying. One problem that you might be noticing is the fact that even if we move and we're out of range, right, it's still gonna continue to attack us. One quick sort of workaround for that would be adding the audio component not here, but like adding it to basically your main character when it takes damage, when it like in event any damage, here you should add the audio component. So that's gonna make sure that whenever the enemy attacks and it doesn't hit us, it's not gonna still run, right? So that's nice. And let me actually go ahead and do that, because it's like it just makes, I think, the code easier. And I'm just gonna be cutting this, Control X, and then plug this back in like that. And here, event any damage, what you can do is you can drag, actually no, I can just paste it here and then plug it in like this. Perfect. So this should work the same. If I compile both of them, should work the same, but it's just that whenever we actually take the damage, and it's not working for some reason. Interesting. Let's go ahead and see. So I think we might have to just delete this and might have to import the sound file, the actual sound file again, because yeah, in that audio component, it wasn't specified that it was this specific sound file. So you just need to do that again. Compile this, make sure the other one is compiled as well, and now it should work. Yeah, you can see that whenever we take damage, it's going to make that sound. But if we're far away from it, what we can do, what it's going to do is that it's not going to make that sound, even though it's going to be attacking still. And I think that's fine. Yeah, we don't really need to sort of make it not attack, because that's just going to overcomplicate things. And I think this is a better option, that like the audio is only going to play whenever she attacks. And I don't know if you guys can, actually, I don't think you guys can hear it, but like, yeah, just trust me that it plays only when we're being attacked. In fact, I'll just show you. I'll just increase the desktop audio once again. And you can see that we are being attacked, so the audio plays. But then if we run away, you can see that it's still attacking, but then the audio is not playing because, we're not being attacked. Yeah, so that's perfect. And so that's done. This adding attack sound is done. So I'm just going to remove that. Now we need to basically add an attack reaction animation, which is going to be slightly complex. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to be doing that after this one, displaying health on screen. This, I think, is pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to be showing you guys. It's very similar to the timer one, timer thing that we did. But yeah, it's pretty fun as well. It's pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to be doing this one now. So I'm just going to cut this and paste it there. I'm just going to change the sequence a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go inside my widgets actually. Where are my widgets? Right there, widgets. And you're going to see that we have the HUD widget right here, HUD. And if I open it, we only have the time remaining, right? So what we need to do is we need to also add another value here, which is going to be the health value, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select time remaining, copy it and paste it, and then basically move it wherever you want. So you want it to be probably like somewhere like here, something like that. And because we're moving it to the right side, we're going to make sure that the anchor is set to the bottom right as well, because this is also sort of anchored to the bottom right? And I'm going to be copying this again and pasting it again, moving it down, something like that. This is going to be the health. So I'm just going to set the placeholder value to 100. And what is the font size of this? It's 70. So this font size, I'm also going to set that to 70 as well, just to keep things consistent, you know, something like that. Making sure that it's the same size. It is. Just undo that. Perfect. So this is going to be the health, and this I'm going to change to health as well. Health. Perfect. Cool. So I think that looks pretty nice. Maybe move it a little down. Just something like that. Perfect. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is going to be our health. I'm just gonna click this number right here. And again, the process is going to be exactly the same. We're going to go over to text, click bind right here, this button right here, and click create binding. And just make sure to compile everything, by the way. And so what we need to do is that I'll tell you guys what we actually need to do, like the process, and then you guys can sort of figure out the nodes by yourselves. And just it's going to be a good test for. It's going to be a good check for you guys if you guys know how to actually, you know, program in Unreal Engine 5. So what we need to do is we need to go inside. We need to access the health variable, which is inside our Twin Blast character. So right here. So inside a Twin Blast character, we have this variable called health. We just need to get the value of that, and we need to display it here. So if you guys remember, how exactly do we sort of access things inside of other blueprints? I hope you guys remember. It's the way you do this is by casting. So I'm going to do cast to CBP sandbox character Twin Blast. Perfect. So once you have this node as Twin Blast character, you can just search for health. You can get health, right? And then you can just plug this into the return value, and it's automatically going to convert it to text. Okay. And make sure to plug these nodes in as well, so that it actually like runs. And I'm just gonna do some, make it look pretty. Perfect. So this should work. However, okay, yeah, in the object we're gonna just do get player character, because that's what you always do. Compile it, and if you play it, you're gonna see that the health is 30, 10, and then yeah. One problem that you might be noticing is the fact that the health is like, you know, it's not really sort of aligned with, the number is not really aligned with the text. So we're going to have to work on that. So let's go back to the designer, make sure that the anchor is bottom right. And also one thing that we need to do is we need to sort of right align this text just by clicking this justification thing, go to justification and clicking this right align thing. So now hopefully it should looks just fine. No, it doesn't. So let's go ahead and see what the problem is. Let's set it to a double-digit value to see what the problem is. Okay, so I think we can't do this because obviously it's binded to that. Let's see, what if you move it a little towards this side? Let's see what happens now. Yeah, I think now it's fine. Yeah, I can see that it looks good. And also if you change the value of health, obviously it's going to reflect on our widget. So right now the health, max health is 30. And if I go to my Twin Blast character, go to health, set the health value to something like 100, it should reflect in that. Yeah, you can see that it's 100, but then right now it's a little towards the right side. So we're going to have to sort of fix that. Let's see. Let's get hit, and now it looks fine. However, I am gonna move it. I'm gonna go back to my designer and move it a little towards the right side, something like that. I think that should be nice. And again, like the formatting and like, you know, making it look pretty and all that stuff, you guys can sort of figure that out yourself. Like it comes down to person preference, right? It's like one person would like something, the other person wouldn't like that. So yeah, just do that on your own. Apart from that, I think we are looking pretty good. So let's work on one sec. Let's go back to our notepad. Let's make health on the screen. That is done. So I'm just gonna remove that. Now we're gonna actually fix the you win and you lose screens, because I'm basically just doing the easiest things in like first, and then we're gonna do the hardest things or like the most time-consuming things at the end. Be sure to save all, by the way, if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and fix the you win and you lose screen. So all we need to do for this is that we need to make sure that when it says that you lost the game, it should display the screen for like something about 5 seconds, somewhere around 5 seconds. After that, it should basically restart the level, right? Because that's what we want. So what we need to do is we simply need to go to our game mode. So if you go to content, and I think it was in Blueprint, yeah. You can see that we have this game mode tutorial here. Make sure to go into word settings and just verify that the current game mode is that it is game mode tutorial right here. So just open this game mode, and here you're going to see that we're controlling all the win and lose logic, right? You can see that the you lost function is here and the you win function is also here. Perfect. So once it basically adds this widget, what we need to do is we need to basically make it wait 5 seconds. How do you do that in Unreal Engine 5? You guessed it, use the delay node. Perfect. So if you add the delay node, set the duration to something like 5 seconds or however many seconds you want. It's completely up to you. Now we're going to basically restart the game. The way you do that is by this node called open level by name. So what this does is that this basically is going to open the level, or what it's going to do is that essentially it's going to basically play the game once again. Let me turn off the desktop audio so that you guys are not disturbed by it. But what it's going to do is that it's essentially going to play the game again. All right. So we need to just do open level by name. However, one thing that you need to sort of be sure in this is the level name is set to the current level that you're in. So where exactly is your level name? You go up here to the top left side. You can see quarry_slate. You need to copy this exact name over. You need to type it like yourself, but like make sure that the spelling and everything is perfectly fine. Quarry_slate. Because if you get the spelling wrong, it's not going to work. It's going to probably give you a glitch or something like that. So let's see if it works. So I'm actually going to reduce my health again, just so we don't have to wait for that long to, you know, die. Actually, it's not even like your health going to 0 is not even gonna affect the you win or you lose screen. We're gonna have to fix that as well. Okay, so I think we added it to the wrong one. So what we did was, if I go back to my game mode, yeah, basically we went to the event begin play and then added it there. So we're not gonna do that. Let's cut this, Control X. We're gonna add it like right here. Perfect. Oh, my bad. Paste these here and then just add them right here. And so I'm just gonna compile this, see if it works. We're gonna have to wait 10 more seconds to lose the game once the time runs out, and then we're gonna see if it works or not. So you lost, and it should have this for 5 seconds, and then you can see that it basically creates the game again. Perfect. So it launches the level once again. We're gonna do the same thing for U1 as well. So yeah, we're just gonna copy these nodes, Control C, Control V, and just put it right here. Perfect. So this works. This logic is fine, hopefully. What we need to do now is that we also need to do one more thing. So once it says you lose, once it says you lose, what you need to do is that basically you need to make sure that the character cannot control the player. It's just you know, it's just like standing there, and you get back your mouse, you get your cursor back, like you can't move the character anymore, right? So what we need to do is we need to search for show mouse cursor, but you're gonna see that we're not actually gonna see it. That's because context sensitive is turned on. If you just turn that off, you can set show mouse cursor just like that, and that should be basically what we're trying to do. However, if I just go ahead, also I'm going to make sure that this is checked. If I go ahead and compile this right now, it's going to give me an error. That's because we need to sort of give it the player controller to sort of change the mouse cursor. That's the way it works in Unreal Engine 5. So we need to drag off of the target and just say get player controller. However, if I compile this again, you're going to see that it's not going to know which player to get the controller of, because right now we only have one player, right? But you can't forget that in Unreal Engine 5 you can have multiple players. So like, which player are we talking about? So we need to drag off of this again and say get player character. And if you do that, you're going to see that the player index is 0. That's the default player. But if you have multiple players, you would set this to 1 or 2 or whatever, whichever player you wanted to sort of control that. And if you compile this, you're going to see that right now the one other problem that we have is that we're adding the delay first, and we're opening the level then, and then we're setting this mouse cursor, which is obviously wrong logic. So what we need to do is we need to do all this whole thing, before we add the delay. So I'm just going to drag off this like that and disconnect this as well. So I'm just going to be moving this here, and it is a little cluttered, like there's a whole bunch of nodes, but should be fine. Something like that. I'm just gonna move this here just to make it more like a little easier to understand. However, it's still pretty cluttered. But yeah, the way it works is that once you die in the game, or once you just lose, it's gonna set the mouse cursor to be visible, right? And then it's gonna add the delay of 5 seconds and all that stuff. And also, I think 5 seconds is a bit much. Let's just do like 2 seconds, and then we should be good. And also the timer, initial timer, I'm just going to set this to like 3 seconds as well, just for, testing purposes, so that we don't have to wait 15 seconds every time just to test if it works or not. Let's see. So time remaining, and then we lost, and you can see that we can see our cursor now, and it just restarts the game. Perfect. So it works. However, obviously the problem is that our enemy is like way too close to us, so that the moment we spawn, we're just being attacked on. We're going to change that obviously, but yeah. So the win-lose logic is actually still not complete. So one problem is that when we are being attacked, and once we die from like low health, we don't actually like die in the game. So in order for us to do that, what we need to do is basically we can just use, if I just go inside my Twin Blast character, you're going to see that we have this variable called isAlive. So we can use this variable to sort of basically tell the game that our character is dead. And if the character is dead, then we can just display the you lose screen, and we can, after a few seconds, we can restart the game. So all we need to do is that once we are playing the animation montage, what we need to do is that the moment that this animation plays, we should just set this isAlive variable to false. What this is also going to do is that it's also going to make sure that the enemy character doesn't keep hitting us while we're dying, right? So that's obviously, while the death animation is playing, we shouldn't have the enemy character still continue to hit us, right? Because it doesn't make sense. So we're going to set isAlive to false. And after that, what we need to do is that we can basically just go back once we compile this and save it. What we can do is we can go back inside our bloopers folder, go back to our game mode. So for this, what we need is that we're going to need an event tick node, which is going to basically run every frame. It's going to keep checking if the character is dead or not. If the character is dead, the moment the character dies, it's going to display the you lose widget. So we can right click and we can say event tick. And so it's going to keep checking it continuously. We can go ahead and we can add a branch node to this, which is going to have a condition. And so the condition is going to be, it should be isAlive, but it's not going to be available here. So we're going to have to turn off context sensitive, and we can get it like this, get isAlive, and plug it in like that. And I think we're going to have to do cast to CBP sandbox character Twin Blast like that. Okay. And I think we're going to have to just take this ahead, select all this stuff, move it ahead like this, and just make sure that it is passing it through this node. Okay. So let's see if it works. So our code is going to be basically the moment that it sort of checks that if isAlive is false, what we need to do is that we need to drag off of this, and we're going to be like create widget. Create widget. Widget that we're going to create is going to be the you lost widget, because obviously, you know, the player would have lost the game. And then we can go to add to viewport, search add to viewport, and just add it to viewport as well. Let's see if it works or not. I think it should work. However, one second, there's an error. Okay, yeah, so in the object, we're just going to plug in get player character. Just know that whenever you're casting it to your current like player character, like your basically your main character, you're gonna have to just add this node right here just to make it work. And let's see. So attack, and you lost. Perfect. So again, after it displays you lost, you should also have the delay of about 2 seconds, I think. And then we can go ahead and open level once again. I'm just going to copy this node right here, and I'm going to because I don't have to write the name of the level again. So hopefully it should work fine. Let's see if it works fine or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the game. Let's run ahead and attack, you lost. And after 2 seconds, we respawn back in the world. Perfect. So the game is working as we expect it to. The game is working just fine. So I think the win-lose logic is correct for the most part. Let's just play the game and let's just try to look for bugs or, you know, potential problems that we could have. So if instead of this, once again, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go on the other side and just see if the win logic works as well. So if you make it to the spaceship in time, the win logic should work, and it does work. And after you win, also after you win, the game should also become one second, the game should also we should like basically make the game do something as well, right? So after you win, so I think what we should do is once you win the game, I think you should just probably just have the same thing, I guess, just add a delay and open level once again. We could also add a button. We could give the player an option to sort of either you know, restart the game or like just quit the game or something like that, but I think it's fine. We can just restart the game, because we're sort of making it like an arcade kind of game in which it's there's like no story or anything like that. It's just like, you know, you can play infinite times and it just keeps restarting automatically. So once you win, it should give it about a few seconds, and yeah, right, there you go, and it should just restart the game. Perfect. So that works. So I think everything that we've done so far is working just fine. All we need to do is we probably need to like fix some of the things that are happening in the game. So right now you can see that our character is starting up there. We don't want it to do that. And obviously the enemy position is not correct as well. And we have this random twin blast, another twin blast in the game. So we can just delete that. And let's just make the game look like an actual game and make it like playable and sort of like build up the gameplay. So I'm just going to be placing the start point of the character where we want it to be. Something like that. Place it right there. Something like that should be a good starting position. And I think once we start the game, we shouldn't encounter our first enemy right away. I think we should just give the player some time to like sort of walk around, move around, maybe try some of the parkour things and move here. Probably explore somewhere here. And I think once the player moves up, at that point, maybe when the player gets here, then what we should do is that we should have an enemy like maybe like one of the enemy characters like right here. And the moment that our player comes here, it should attack from the back. So that it sort of catches the player off guard, and it's just going to be interesting. So once we're just going to take this, place it right there. And we're going to angle this in such a way that the moment our player comes in this sort of region, it should just come inside its own radar, and it should be activated. So the player starts, perfect, you jump. You can walk around and stuff like that. You can just explore a little bit before the actual drama starts. Jump from here. Perfect. Perfect. And we already lost the game, but you know, I think we're gonna have to increase the time for now, because yeah, we can't just keep, you know, playing the game in 20 seconds. Let me just set it to like 120 seconds just 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes should be good enough for the whole game. Okay, perfect. So we move here. I'm just gonna take a shortcut. And I'm not sure why, but I'm getting some frame drops, but hopefully when we compile the game, it should be fine. Let's jump up there. Jump here. And the moment you reach here, this is when the first enemy should just come behind you and just attack you. Perfect. So it will probably catch the players off guard. And also you can see that these spheres are visible. So let me just go ahead and hide the spheres because we don't really need them anymore. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to my retargeted characters inside the Marigesh character. And when it says sphere trace by channel, in this node, we're just going to do draw debug. Instead of for duration, we're just going to set it to none. And that should fix the problem. So, and also let me just set my health back to 100 as well. So health should be 100. And perfect. And you can also make multiple enemies with multiple damage points. So one enemy could be like a weaker enemy. It could do damage of like maybe 10 hit points. Another enemy could be like a bigger one. He could probably do a damage of like, I don't know, 20, 30. All that is up to you guys, and you guys should sort of decide that. But again, yeah, the logic and like the process of creating another enemy is going to be exactly the same as creating the first one. So yeah, you guys shouldn't worry about that. Okay, so this works. Perfect. And you can see that it starts following us, but we can run away from it. And I think probably somewhere around here, like maybe around this point, we should have another enemy just waiting to sort of catch us off guard from the front. Because yeah, from if it's only one enemy, we're probably just gonna run away from it. But yeah, I think we should have another one. And this I'm gonna face it like somewhere like right there, so that when we like get inside the like radius like right here, it should just start then. And I think it should be nice. And we could probably have one more. Probably somewhere around, if I just copy that over. We should have just one more enemy, probably somewhere around here. And this one should be facing like right there. Okay? Right there. Perfect. So I think 3 enemies should be enough. Otherwise, we are going to make the game like too hard for no reason. Again, the difficulty level is up to you. You can tweak it just based on whatever you want it to be. And you can see some of the collisions are not working as intended. So we might have to sort of just check out some of the collisions and just fix them. Because the game is a little glitchy for some reason. So yeah, you can see first enemy is activated. It's following us. We run away from it. Then there's another enemy following us as well. And then we keep running, keep running, keep running. And the last one should be activated just now. Perfect. We're just going to run away from them. And we can reach our final win point like there. And once we win the game, obviously they can't attack us anymore. So yeah, restart. Perfect. So I think the game is working just fine. So one major problem that I'm noticing right now is the fact that some of these assets are not really blending in with the world as well. Like for example, like this thing right here, it's like you can see the edges of these assets. So we're just gonna have to sort of take some time to like, you know, just make them integrate more with the environment. So I'm just gonna duplicate this, move it somewhere around there, and then maybe move it a little higher, something like that, and probably rotate it even. Actually, no, I don't think that is the best solution. I think we should maybe just move this whole thing a little down. Something like that. 1 second. Where's the move tool? All right, right below us. So just move it like a little down, something like that. That's what, you know, blends in a little better. And again, you should spend way more time on this than I am, because obviously, you know, if you're actually making like a game that you're going to publish, you would definitely spend a lot more time on this. But yeah, my job here is just to, you know, show you guys sort of how to do things. One thing that you should keep in mind is that with these tutorials, we're sort of just like speed running the whole process, and we're not really sort of like, you know, paying that close of an attention to all the details and all that stuff. So in actual production ready games, you should definitely sort of pay a closer attention to all the details, and, you know, spend way more time on that as well. But then again, like actual games will take you like, you know, weeks or months to develop, if not years. And yeah, so you will have a lot more time to sort of experiment with that. But I think we should be good for this. Again, this part is not looking good, so we can probably add another one of these rock assets. And especially if you're making like a natural environment game, it's going to be much harder to sort of, get it right because of all the uh like randomness that comes with like natural environments. If you're making like an interior scene or like like indoor environments and all that stuff, that should be much easier because everything is sort of in your control and you're not really using, you won't really need that many like random assets. With natural environments, however, it is definitely a little more tricky.